You know what's interesting? People think World War III starts with one big event, one explosion, one announcement, one moment where everything changes. Yeah, real life doesn't work like that. World wars don't start in 1 second. They build step by step through pressure, alliances, and mistakes. So in this video, I'm going to break down 5 real situations happening right now that could potentially escalate into something much bigger if things go wrong. Not predictions, not fear, just understanding how global conflicts connect. Because once you see the pattern, you understand how things spiral. Let's start with the most obvious one right now. The Iran-Israel conflict, with the United States in the middle. This is already one of the most dangerous flashpoints. The US and Israel launched strikes on Iran in 2026, and Iran responded with missile and drone attacks across the region. And here's the key problem. This is not just 2 countries. It's a network. Iran has regional allies. The US has global allies. And major powers like China and Russia are watching closely and sometimes supporting indirectly. Even more critical, Iran disrupted the Strait of Hormuz, which handles about 20% of global oil supply. That means this is not just a military issue. It's an economic one. And when economics get involved, more countries get pulled in. Now let's go to the second major pressure point, the China-United States tension. This one is different. Less direct war, more strategic rivalry, trade wars, technology competition, military presence in regions like the South China Sea and Taiwan. And here's why it matters. If the US is heavily involved in one conflict like Iran, it creates opportunity elsewhere. Even analysts note that conflicts like the Iran war can weaken US, positioning globally, giving China and Russia more strategic space. So these conflicts don't exist separately. They overlap, and overlap increases risk. Now the third situation. Russia-Ukraine war, with the US involved indirectly. This conflict has already been ongoing for years, but it's not just regional anymore. It affects energy markets, food supply, global alliances. Studies show that conflicts like this disrupt global food systems and create economic ripple effects worldwide. And here's the key danger. If escalation increases, direct confrontation between larger powers becomes more possible. Not guaranteed, but more possible. Now here's where things get more complex. The fourth trigger is not a country. It's alliances colliding. Because modern conflicts are not isolated. They're connected through alliances, NATO, regional partnerships, strategic agreements. So when one conflict expands, allies get involved. And when allies get involved, conflicts scale. Let me explain simply. A small conflict between 2 countries? Manageable. The same conflict with alliances involved? Global risk. Now the fifth and most underrated, economic warfare and resource disruption. This is already happening. Oil prices rising, supply chains breaking, sanctions being used as weapons. The IMF has already warned that the Iran conflict is slowing global economic growth and increasing inflation. And here's the dangerous part. Economic pressure creates instability. Instability creates reactions, and reactions create escalation. Now let's step back, because this is where everything connects. World War III doesn't start because one country decides. It starts when multiple conflicts overlap, major powers get involved, and systems, military, economic, political, start failing at the same time. Here's the biggest mistake people make. They look at each conflict separately. Iran versus Israel, Russia versus Ukraine, China versus US. But in reality, these are not separate. They are pressure points in the same system. Let me give you a simple way to understand it. Think of the world like a structure. Each conflict adds stress. One stress point, manageable. 5 at the same time, now the system starts shaking. And here's the most important truth. None of this guarantees a world war. Not even close. Because diplomacy, deterrence, and global economics all work to prevent that. But what increases risk? Miscalculation. Overreaction. Chain reactions. Let me say something a little sarcastic. People think world wars start with big speeches. In reality, they usually start with small decisions that escalate too far. So what should you actually take from this? Not fear, not panic, just awareness. Because the real world doesn't run on what if, it runs on how things connect. And once you understand that, you stop reacting emotionally and start thinking strategically. If this video helped you understand global tensions in a clearer way, share it with your friends and family. Because clear thinking spreads slower than panic, but it's far more valuable. And if you want more realistic, grounded breakdowns like this, subscribe to the channel. Stay informed, stay calm, and remember, world wars don't start suddenly. They build until someone fails to stop them.